one of the things that we talked about was in just strictly sport BJJ, we say position before submission, right? Why? Right, you have to get submission first, or you have to get a position in order to be able to submit someone. All right, if you don't have the position, you're just going to make your situation worse. If you try and choke me from inside my guard, it's like, I know how to deal with that. That's not a problem. You can try and choke me, but you're going to get submitted. You need to get position first. So if we look at this now, let's say from an MMA perspective, all right, the only addition that we're adding with MMA is that we're adding in strikes, right? So when we add in strikes into the equation, stuff like that, can you knock me out from inside my guard?
Yes.
Right. So strikes start to become a factor that we have to consider within position before submission and stuff like that. So strikes have to be considered. And then, but position before submission is still a rule. If I'm flat on my back and you're on top of me in the mount, can I knock you out from there?
Possibly.
No. I can't rear back because the ground's at my back. So, like if I'm flat on my back and you're sitting on my chest, I'm not knocking you out from there. All you have to do is literally just posture up. My hand won't reach your chin and stuff like that. So position is still a key factor, but it's not the ultimate catch-all that it is in sport BJJ, because we're adding in the addition of strikes. Now I'm just gonna write street just because we're dealing with that. So when we're dealing with street, we say position before submission, but weapon above everything, because it doesn't make any difference. You can actually be sitting on my chest in the mount and I can shoot you. You know, you could have the best position in the world. You could have my back and you could have the best position in the world and stuff, and I could still shoot you from there and end the fight. If you are on my back, hooks in an MMA environment, I'm not gonna knock you out. Like, I'm not gonna do this and knock you out. But I can absolutely bring that weapon back. I can come back in here. So we have to kind of consider that. So one of the things that all of these take into consideration is mobility. When we say position before submission in the BJJ realm, that's because I'm getting control of you and I'm taking away your mobility so that you can't do nothing, you can't really resist, and then I add in submissions and then I finish the fight. When we're talking about strikes in BJJ, or excuse me, in an MMA, typically what's going to end up happening is in a cage environment or in a ring or something like that, is I'm going to get you penned in somewhere. Even if I don't have position, I'm inside your guard. But if I'm still in a top dominant position, I get you wedged in somewhere, I can still start instituting strikes. So I took away your mobility. Street, same thing. If you commit yourself to a position and completely ignore the weapon, and I'm able to take away your mobility, even from there, I can bring that weapon into play and still end that fight. So mobility becomes the key factor. Now let's look at this from another perspective, just because we've talked about this before in the past. If I have a guy that's sitting here, and let's just say I've got two guys back here, and they're functioning as a team. This guy has control of cover, right? I mean, he's up close enough, he's the one who's actually controlling cover. But these guys, assuming that they lay down suppressive fire, they can basically pen this guy behind here, right? So if this guy maintains suppressive fire and this guy starts to move out and he starts talking the gun and basically moving out to flank, then did this guy not control his mobility? 100%. Okay, so let's look at this another way. This guy is sitting back in a corner, so we have this dead corner back in here. I can roll this door, investigate this room, so on and so forth. But I've got my team, you know, we all entered in through that door right there. So my team is all back in here and stuff like that. As I start rolling into this door, what do you think is going to happen if I try and peer around this corner to take on this dead space?
Crossfire.
Well, I'm putting rounds. Yeah, I can engage this guy, but I'm putting rounds back through the wall into my own guys. Same thing that happened with Polk County Sheriff and stuff with that one officer. Yep. So in this particular case, can this guy maintain his wedge and still from here maintain suppressive fire on this guy without endangering his guys, and allow these guys, you guys know what a water breach is?
No, sir.
Okay, take a bag of water and basically take like 3 feet of deck cord, wrap it up inside, sandwich it between 2 bags of water, and you put it on a wall. And you just pop the deck cord and stuff, and basically what ends up happening is it fires a breach of water through a wall. Now, depending on the thickness of the wall, you may need like 8 feet of deck cord to go through a block wall, but 3 feet will usually go through wood and stuff like that and drywall. So if I go ahead and set a breach charge up here, this guy just holds the position. Not only is he able to basically, this guy controlled this guy's mobility, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that this guy controlled this guy's mobility. So he took away mobility. This guy is controlling his mobility. This guy is maneuvering to get the shot. We're doing the same thing in combatives. The only thing I'm trying to illustrate to you guys here is that combat is combat is combat. It makes no difference whether or not we're looking at this from a single one-on-one perspective inside of a vehicle, or whether or not we're looking at this from a team tactics, environment inside CQB. It's all the same principles that are being applied. Basically, the guy who maintains mobility is the guy who has the advantage. If I can keep mobility on this guy and maintain control, that's why when we do takedowns, nothing wrong with doing takedowns. I want to get my takedown, I want to get this guy under control. But I'm not looking to pull guard into a takedown because that takes away my mobility. When I do a takedown, I need to guarantee that I end up in a top position such that I can go ahead and if at any point this guy introduces something that I need to make space for, I can get up and make space. So I'm not looking to take down like in a wrestling type takedown or something like that where I take this guy down and I end up in his guard. He pulls a knife in that situation, I don't have mobility anymore. I can't get up and run. Now I'm stuck in that situation. You guys understand the principles that we're trying to lay out here?